All right, so this is only from the first 3 periods. I don't have the other periods quite done yet. They're all graded, but I don't have it broken up yet. So tomorrow's classes, I don't have the stats, but I imagine they'll break down the same way. Remember that this is more than the number of students that took the test, but you had 2 tests for each part. So you had the essential part and you had the content part. So divide it up. So compared to last time, if I had a curve up here, it would not be a good bell curve. It would not be a good bell curve at all. You'd have a huge tail, right, to the right, because there'd be very few here. There'd be a huge spike here. So I mean, as a teacher, this is awesome. This is really, really good. I don't think it was a super easy test, truth be told. I feel like the stuff on there we did in class, but the difference in looking at your note cards this time, as I was just scanning through them, giving people checks, it was way more organized. People didn't have tiny writing, Tyler, but everybody else did not have tiny writing. And so it really looked like this time, instead of just writing everything from your notes, you guys figured out what was going on. Somebody came and took the test and early because she wasn't going to be here. And ideally, this is what I want to see happen. She's like, I forgot that I had my note card for part of the time. That I wrote everything down and it was so organized and I knew where it was that I was going through, I forgot to look at it a couple times. And that's why you're making the note card. Right? The note card is great, it's a crutch, it's fantastic, it's really, really good for you to have on your desk and it makes you feel good. Ideally, that's what you want to happen. You want to get to the point that you write down the notes so well and you study and you keep going that it works out perfectly. For your next note card, I actually break it down into different categories. You only have so much space to write stuff down, and one of your homework assignments that night is to go home and write down notes about this topic or that topic or something. So you're filling out your note card as you go along. So ideally, you'll be in class, you'll do the homework, you'll do the notes, you'll answer the short answer questions on the review sheet, which I can tell some of you did as we went along because the writing was in different colored pen. So like some people did the review sheet as we went along, and sometimes it was pencil, and sometimes it was blue pen, and sometimes it was black pen. And so as you're doing that, you'll realize you're studying as you go along. This is awesome. I couldn't be any more pleased to see this as a teacher. Like, this is great, and I don't think it was an easy test. I don't think it was a gift. I pulled all the questions that 20% of you or more got wrong, because if I just did the 33%, I think there was like 7 questions. So I pulled more than 20% than you got wrong, as opposed to that, so it's 18 questions. So I don't know what was what, but I'm going to show you what went on. I will give you the review sheet. You guys have the rest of the time to work on that today. The supportive work stuff, and I have the dates at the top when you can make things up. So I'm going to go through this now. If you want to write stuff down, great. If you don't, that's cool as well. And then we'll go from there. So the first question, kind of in order. Let's see if this works. Come on, there we go. First question was the amendment process built into the Constitution by the framers accounts for the government. And I told you guys to make a great test question. I think some of you still think that I'm lying when I say that this would make a great test question. It's a great test question. Why? Because it's super easy. I don't know how more than like a 10th of you got this wrong. I said this is going to be a test question. And it's a test question, right? Stability, federalism, and flexibility. The number 4 was wrong. Anything with 4 is wrong, right? So it's those 3. You just got to know that. Yeah?
Is this number 1 on Form A or B?
I don't know.
Okay.
Because I just got rid of all of them and I just numbered it.
You're good.
And so I didn't quite get to that point because I had to get all of that stuff done over there yesterday for the sub for you guys on Friday. So I don't know which one is which.
It's all good.
But a lot of you, it was like more than I thought. 1, 2, 3. If you're going to retake it, you're going to see it again. You have to know the stability part, right? You have to know the flexibility part. You have to know the federalism part. I mean, a great question would have been like the 12th Amendment stuff, or the 18th and the 22nd and 21st Amendment stuff, or things like that. I'm not about to put that on there. What I just want you guys to see is this is what it does. Okay, does that make sense to everybody? I'm not going to write up here because it's pretty much just a regurgitation one. Even though it was in the first part, it's still a regurgitation one. Next question. No, that's not right. There we go. That's right. Are you serious? We did this. as originally drafted, as originally written, whatever it is. I told you guys you're gonna see this on here. I don't know how many times, and some of you were awesome, I looked at your note cards and you had the picture, where you had the stick figure picture with the little arrows going up and stuff like that. You should have known, right? What did I say about these dudes? They're never what? Thank you, they're never elected, can't be them. What do we know about these guys? They've always been what kind of election?
Direct.
And I even bolded and underlined it. Right? I even bolded and underlined indirectly. You got to know it's indirect election. It's so important, simply from the standpoint that these two go together. Right? These two go together. Good job in the popular. Just if you're wondering if this popular thing is true, it's very interesting. I was reading CNN last night, and it said that slowly but surely some Trump nominees for the judiciary are slowly but surely getting pushed to the side by the Senate. And the reason for that is that he's not super popular, right? Even today, even though they're directly elected today. But those three, got to get that right, right? You got to get that right. We could go into U.S. history. We could go into all those different ideas about how we change it in the progressive era, but that's U.S. history. That's not us. I need to know the difference. You okay in that one? Okay. Okay, next one. Okay, so I was walking around and I changed the wording a little bit, but I didn't think it was that difficult of a change in wording that people would get it wrong, and I think more people got it wrong simply because you got a little bit confused. I wasn't quite specific enough, but anything with one is wrong, right? Anything with one is wrong. And I added this, so there's 5 answers, just get it wrong. So anything with a 1 has got to be wrong. You're down to 2 and 3 or 2. So you know, right? You know that 3 is right. It's in both of them. Outlawing future importation of slaves. I looked at that as 20 years, right? Which of the following statements reflects an action taken by the Dallas Constitution government in regard to slavery, outlawing future importation of slaves? I thought it was pretty clear, so we talked about in class. A little bit reading into it. We talked about in class how they had to punt, right? They had to punt, so they punted for 20 years. In 20 years to the day, what did they do? Got rid of the slave trade. So I thought the importation of slaves, the slave trade thing, you guys would kind of get that. I changed the wording because I didn't want to literally put 20 years. I thought that would be a little bit weird and easy, right? So I'm not going to change the wording, but in this case, I understand. I saw a lot of people just putting 3, and I thought you could read into it and see 2 because I didn't want to make it quite verbatim, the 20 years. Right? Because if it was 20 years, I would have put it as a content question. And this was an essential question because I wanted to make sure that you guys kind of thought about it a little bit. I understand why if you only put 3. I do. I'm not going to change the wording. I like to make you think a little bit. I'm not. But I understand as I was walking around, I saw a lot of people only put 3 here. And if you just put 3 here and think back to the test, I get it. But I was thinking slave trade here because importation of slaves. As I was walking around, I said maybe I need to take something here and add the word commerce in the future. We're constantly updating tests, at least we should be. So I might rewrite this question again. I've done it a couple times, maybe add the word commerce. But 2 and 3, right? And I'll see if I can do something maybe for the retake, maybe on the plane. I'll change this question so when I reprint it, I'll add something about commerce, and I'll kind of think to you guys, okay, deal with the commerce of slavery in the future or something like that. I get why you put 3. I do. I'm not going to drop it because you're going to retake it and people crush the test. But I get why you put 3. Do I have any questions on this one? Okay, I was looking at this, I was like, oh, maybe that's more me than them. All right.